Right guys, for those who don't know me, I am known as the Coleco Chameleon Man, and I'm here to bring you another video. You've all been waiting for it. I was out of the loop for a while. I'm back in the game, and I've got a new video here. I'm calling this Scammers versus Bashers. We're going to find out exactly who these Bashers are. We're going to find out who these Scammers are. We're going to find out what is going on. What happened? What happened here, and why is there so much drama? If you are a first-time watcher of my video, I'm going to go through a few steps here that you're going to have to follow. So for this video here, this is number 4 in my series, okay? This is not a new thing. For this video, we're going to assume that you already know the history of the Coleco Chameleon, you the viewer, okay? Because I'm not going to be getting into too much of that. I'm also going to try not to repeat previous statements from my previous videos, even though they are all still applicable to this video. This will happen, but it's going to be kept to a minimum because I'm going to try to flow through some new information here. Step 3, if you're a first-time watcher, make sure to watch my previous blow your balls off conclusion video, which was my 3rd video in the series. This is going to be number 4. Last thing you're going to want to do is watch this entire video to avoid the very common idiot comments. They're very common. There's a lot of people who do not know how to watch an entire video. I understand your attention spans are low, but you got to watch the full video to grasp everything, or you're going to end up being one of those idiots, okay? Okay, so now it's time to get into the good stuff, all right? We're getting into the meat of the matter. Before I do that, I got to give you a warning. I need you to follow my 2-step process before you continue. Before you watch this video, step 1, give your balls a nice shave and a good scrub. Okay, preferably with shaving gel, not shaving cream. It's smooth. It gives a nice smooth shave. It's much more easier on the balls. Good for the skin. And number 2, be prepared to blow your balls off. This guy in the picture, he gives a good demonstration on the best method to blow your balls off. You be the judge on what method you want to use. So who are the Bashers? I'm gonna tell you who the Bashers are. Number 1, we have your standard drama queens. Why do you think there are over 500 pages worth of bashing on the Atari Age forum? You don't get 500 pages worth of threads and posts on the Coleco Chameleon without your drama queens, okay? And number 2, we have your drama queen idiots, okay? I'm going to be going into some in-depth detail on these guys. I'm really going to be focusing more on these guys, okay? These are the guys that are causing the majority of the problems. They're a little bit different from drama queens, okay? And 3, you have your download content lovers. These guys, we're not going to be going into any detail on these guys. They're a small little fraction. They're a little niche byproduct of the bashing community. Alright, so who are the Bashers part 2? Warning, this is a drama alert, okay? This is going to be filled with drama, so if you don't like drama, you're going to have to skip this, my favorite of all slides. Number 1, Gamester81 and Pat the NES Punk. These guys are 2 of the most famous names within the retro gaming community. Anybody in the community knows these 2 names right here. Love these guys. I don't want to get into too much of this drama. Hopefully, if you are following the Retro Chameleon, you found out, you also followed what happened here. I'll start with Gamester81 here. This poor guy was getting a lot of flack. Just bashers left, right, and center. As soon as the whole PCI board information came out, this guy was getting bashed. The poor guy even had to delete one of his videos from all the hate mail he was getting with people who, I kid you not, they literally thought he was in on the whole Coleco Chameleon scam, okay? They thought he was in on this because the guy was going to make a game for the system. The guy was going to make a console, or make a game for the console. Oh, big whoop. So they I don't know. I mean, the whole thing was a ridiculous joke. Then they had some bashing going on between Pat and Gamester. It was quickly, the fire was quickly put out, rightfully so. But the point is, this is the perfect example of the ridiculous drama that the ridiculous bashers within this community have created, okay? You post anything positive on the console. If you had previously posted anything positive, the drama queens would bombard you. The other thing I wanted to mention separate is a video that Pat the NES Punk put out as soon as the whole PCI board thing came out. It was a 16-minute rant. He did it without Ian because he had to get it out while it was fresh. But it was 16 minutes of like non-stop profanity and like acting as if Mike Kennedy had just killed his own mother. Like it was just ridiculous. I don't even want to get into that. It's a prime example of drama. The ridiculous drama that this community has created. And it's like they're just like cashing in on it, just feeding off one another. Getting more and more extreme. Who are the bashers? Number 2, the Atari Age Forum. This is where a good 99% of the bashers are originating from. The interesting thing about the Atari Age Forum is that if you actually read from the beginning, okay, they've been following the Coleco Chameleon since its retro video game system days, okay? If you actually follow this community from the beginning, and it's way too much to follow everything. I mean, like I said before, I was exaggerating a little bit when I said there's over 500 pages worth of threads and all that, but it's at pretty close to 400 last I checked. It will get to 500. There's no doubt it's going to 500. But 90% of these users had no intention of purchasing or supporting this console in any way. Every single one of them, 90% of those guys, since the beginning, has been bashing the whole idea of bringing a cartridge system back. Bringing a retro-based cartridge system back to our modern time, okay? And those guys are not the target market for this console to begin with. I'll get into that a little bit later. They were never the target market to begin with. So the other thing about the Atari Age Forum is that this is also where the drama queen idiots have originated from that I was referring to. And, I don't want to go into too much on the drama queen idiots, but yes, these are the guys who still think that Mike Kennedy was going to sell you a Super Nintendo Mini. And then when that idea failed, Mike Kennedy was going to sell you a PCI board, okay, inside of a Jag shell. Like I said, I don't want to repeat too much from my previous video, so we're going to keep moving. Who are the bashers? Number 3, the countless YouTubers who have been bashing this thing, who, again, had no intention to ever support this type of console. They're not the niche market that we're looking for. They're not the retro gamers who actually want a new cartridge-based console. And they've just been cashing in on the hype. The more you bash the system, the more everyone jumps on board your train, right? You're the conductor, you head toward the drama queen homeland, and 90% of the Atari Age Forum will hop on that thing. They'll do whatever it takes to get a ticket. Number 4, who are the bashers? I've narrowed in on 2 names that I think are the exact same individual. Leo DS / Mariano. They are separate individuals, which I highly doubt. They might as well be conjoined twins. They might as well get some surgery, pay a freaking surgeon $100,000, whatever it's going to cost to get you two guys conjoined. So why am I focusing on Leo DS? I am making him the poster boy basher of all bashers because he is the #1 drama queen idiot. He's just the perfect example. Okay, he's the perfect example to use. And I understand all the bashers aren't going to agree with everything that Leo DS has said or believes. Okay, it's just an example of a nice drama queen idiot for the purposes of this video. So let's get right into the famous Leo DS, the now famous Leo DS. Poster boy bashers. Gonna be focusing on Leo DS here. And again, just to reiterate, what I'm doing here is helping you to understand the mindset of the bashers. We're learning who these bashers are and what their opinions are and why they have these opinions. Just really digging into how they think. I'm going to be going through several points on this poster boy basher. And again, he represents a good majority of the bashers. Not all of them, but a good majority share some of the mindset that this individual has. So what has this guy been up to? Let's start with that. This guy has been spamming on all of the Coleco Chameleon YouTube videos. He's pretty much posted on every single video made, whether it be pro Coleco Chameleon or a bashing Coleco Chameleon video. Doesn't matter what it is. The guy has been posting on everything. He's made this his life goal is to post on every video. That is his current life goal. And his life goal, and we'll get into this in a bit, has been since the beginning to bash this console and make sure that it was not released, or at least unsuccessful if it did have a Kickstarter. So some of the ridiculous things this guy has gone on rants about are the use of the Coleco name in the Coleco Chameleon. He's gone on several rants about, he was just really angry guy, really pissed off that they had the guts or the balls to throw this Coleco name in there for something that Coleco has nothing to do with. Well, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but it's called marketing, buddy. And that's how you get exposure. What was the whole... Mike Kennedy didn't even hide this. He wasn't hiding this from the day he got the Coleco name. The day he got the rights to throw that Coleco name on there, he was dead honest. He said, the only reason we're doing this, and he was reluctant to do it, but he knew it would help. The only reason he did it was to get exposure. It's a media thing, okay? If Joe Schmo comes out with a system saying, Joe Schmo's console, it's not going to get the media attention. It's not going to get the hype that something with the Coleco name is going to get. It's called marketing. It's mind-boggling that somebody would even spend time bashing that. So now I'm going to go through some quotes from your poster boy bashers, okay? And this guy is not the only basher with this mindset. Okay, quote number 1. I should also quickly mention that the first several quotes are actually very intertwined, very relatable to each other. Number 1, he's spreading these lies, referring to Mike Kennedy, talking as if the only way to go is cartridge and the other stuff is garbage. Let's intertwine these a few before I make comments. He, Mike Kennedy, wants to make it as if everything else out there sucks so that he can sell you cartridges. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to add in one more. Mike Kennedy is doing a smear campaign on the systems that are out there. Let's go one last one here. Mike wants you to think that everything else out there sucks so he can sell you his console. You know, having to respond to comments like this literally hurts my brain. Do you really think that Mike Kennedy was trying to compete with the PlayStation, the Xbox, PC, Steam games, or even the Super Nintendo, or the Sega Genesis, or even the Retron 5? If that's what you think, you do not belong anywhere near the Coleco Chameleon. You do not belong on any of the forums discussing the topic. You do not belong. You shouldn't even be watching videos related to the subject. You should delete your memory. Any memory that you have of any correspondence related to this console. You should delete everything. A smear campaign? Are you kidding me? Is this some kind of joke? Like, is this a funny joke? Was I misled by your video and it was actually a big stand-up comedy routine? Because I don't know, maybe that's what it was. I mean, it would make more sense. You know, I'll just mention the Coleco Chameleon, okay, was for what's called a niche market, okay? It's for a small niche market with a very niche target audience, of which you are not included. So let's go through some of the final comments made. The only people who would benefit from this console are the people selling it. You can just put your old games on a flash card. I just don't see how this console could ever help the community. We as the consumers never needed this. Even if it's legit, we don't need this. Okay, where to even begin here? Okay, the only people benefiting from this console are the people selling it. Are you kidding me? There's thousands of people that would love to buy something like this. You are not one of them. You are not the target market. You should not even be discussing this topic. You are non-existent to the Coleco Chameleon. You are non-existent to the retro gamers who understand why something like this would be something they would like to buy, and why something like this has a lot of potential. You can put your old games on a flash card? Are you kidding me? You must be the guy who wonders why anybody buys any of the retro games when you could just download an emulator. Why, in fact, why don't I just play all of my retro games on an emulator? Well, you'll obviously never know why. Because you're not the target market. I don't see how this console could ever help the community. Okay, I already discussed that. Yeah, it would actually help the community. It would help the community a lot. There are thousands of supporters out there who would die to see a console like this. And hopefully it'll get made one day. Hopefully somebody else is going to take up the reins and get this thing done, because there is a market for it. Is it PlayStation 4 market? No, it's not. It's very niche. You're not going to become Bill Gates rich. We as the consumer never needed this. Even if it's legit, we don't need this. Okay, then guess what? Stick with your PC gaming and stick with your PC emulators, because again, you're not the retro gamer we're looking for. This is what the 90% are represented by. So the reason I brought this up, because I think it's important to understand what kind of people you're dealing with. This guy is the poster boy for the bashers, and this guy is a very, very well-respected basher in the community. And this is the kind of thing you're dealing with. Okay, this is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with the drama queen idiots. PC gaming's great. I got nothing against PC gaming. I PC game. But these are two different markets, and you cannot compare them. So let's move on to Mike Scam Kennedy versus Fraud. The famous man himself. The drama queen idiots believe that Mike Kennedy's plan was to sell you, the buyer, a SNES Junior inside of a Jag shell, but his plan was foiled. It was foiled. You guys ruined it for him, and the guy was devastated. He almost got away with the dumbest scam in history. He was so close to going in the Guinness World Records for being the dumbest scam artist in history. He would have been right there on page 1 in the Guinness Book of World Records. So because you foiled his plan, he went on and he had a plan B. He had a backup plan. The ultimate scam to scam you out of your money. He wanted to sell you a PCI board capture card inside of a Jag shell. He switched it up, put a nice clear shell in there so you could see the board. He threw an LED light in there, maybe some USB hookups. And man, he was so close. He was going to sell that to you. He was actually going to sell that to you for, what was it, $150 for just the console? Yeah, I would have played, man, lots. I mean, who knows how many games that thing would have played. Yeah, you would have got the delivery of that thing, and your games, you'd be lucky if you got a red light turned on. That'd be great, right? Yeah, there'd be no consequences to that. Not at all. I mean, Mike was going to get rich off this thing. He was going to turn into Bill Gates. Right? He was going to make so much money on this incredibly small niche market. He was going to make bank. He was going to be living on a private island in Hawaii because of his, what was his minimum target? $300,000 on Kickstarter? Oh man, that guy could friggin', oh man, imagine what you can buy with $300,000. That is definitely worth every potential consequence. So what would Mike's real reward have been? Let's have a look. Number 1, possible jail time or guaranteed jail time. What else would he have gotten? What else would Mike have gotten out of this? Jail time and community service. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, Mike loves community service. You can't forget that. And number 3, fines. Possible big figure fines. And even more jail time. That would be great. And number 4, I'm not going to be able to fit it on here, but number 4 would be his loss of reputation, which has already happened. But that's another story. But all that would have been Mike's reward, and that's really what he was pushing for. I mean, that was his end game, but it was ruined. It was absolutely ruined. Because some guy found out which PCI board apparently Mike Kennedy put that board into the Coleco Chameleon. because he really wanted that jail time. I'm sorry, Mike. You didn't quite have it. You're not going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records after all, man. I'm sorry, buddy, but, you know, it was a good run while it lasted. Next slide here. Mike, scam mastermind Kennedy's confession. The team of wannabe jailbirds explain what really happened? Did this really happen, guys? Has something by Mike Kennedy been released? Yes, it has. I'm sure everybody's read it by now. There is a story to be had on the Atari Age forum written by Mike Kennedy himself. But I also happen to know that 90% of the bashers who watch this video, which is 90% of my market, they also don't know how to watch a full video. And that is evident by the comments I received on my last video. That, or they must be like Leo DS and they just, I don't know what these guys are on, but I'd like to have some of that. What would I like to do here? I really just want some time to go into some more in-depth detail on what exactly happened with these scammers, because this is obviously a disaster. And unfortunately, it did not lead to jail time. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to split these videos up because people just don't have the attention span to watch more than 2.5 minutes. So anyways, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. It's not going to make a difference. But you know what? Make sure you subscribe.